You're watching Up with Krim.
Here at 512 this morning, one of the many adverse effects from the pandemic can be seen right in our own home. The Emily program is just one of a few resources in Spokane to help address eating disorders. Our Dana Marie McNichol talked with the local site director about the flood of patients they've been getting throughout the pandemic.
Calls are up 100%.
It's now a year into the pandemic, an environment where eating disorders can thrive.
Anxiety and isolation, those are two huge factors in the pandemic and people being in quarantine.
The Emily program in Spokane is here to support people who need help recovering from an eating disorder. The site coordinator, Dee Myers, says calls pre-pandemic were high, but now there's an even greater surge for services.
And I think a lot of people's relationship with food and just daily movement changed when we were all at home. So for some individuals, binge eating became more frequent and comfort eating became more frequent, as well as individuals who are restricting found that food was one thing that they felt like they could control during this time when so many things in our lives have felt out of control.
Combine that with messages from social media that just aren't true, and it becomes problematic.
Don't gain the quarantine 20 or do a quarantine makeover. And when we come out of quarantine, you'll have lost all of this weight. There's also a lot of pressure, I think, for individuals to just be productive, to have learn new things, do new things during this pandemic when we have been, stuck more at home. So for individuals who have eating disorders, being alone makes the voice in their head even louder.
Myers says the isolation is what has cut off access to their usual support system.
Whether that be their treatment team or whether that be their friends or their support group.
How does the Emily program help people through this?
In the beginning, we converted our services to telehealth, and we have tried to expand as much as we could in what is available for clients. Anybody can call our general Emily program phone number, and with that call, you get set up with an intake. Everybody goes through an intake to determine what kind of services are most appropriate for that person. And then they are lined up with either the outpatient or intensive outpatient services or residential services that client needs.
Making the first call is the hardest, Myers says, but she wants everyone to know that the Emily program is here to help.
And if you or someone you know needs help, you can text the word Emily to 509-448-2000. We'll get you the link to the Emily program website as well as a resource guide for the Inland Northwest.